Well, you guys voted for it. Not happy with the results, but you voted for it. So as you can tell, you're gonna get TNA reviews again. I guess I'll review TNA. Who knows how much longer they'll be around, considering the fact that they're gonna lose the television deal. But we'll see what happens. But this TNA has happened on October 15th, 2014, and it's been a while since I reviewed an actual show of TNA, so I gave a TNA thoughts video with my Bound for Glory predictions, which wasn't unnecessary, but I'll to keep you up to date. I actually know too much. You're gonna find out why. We still have Taz and Mike TNA on commentary. I don't think that's ever changed. Mike TNA has been the commentator pretty much since the company started, and then Taz came in probably around 2009, 2010-ish, considering the fact that that's when he left the WWE. And and I want TNA to show that it is different than the WWE, and they don't do the same stuff that the WWE does that pisses me off. And one of the things that they don't do different is they start the show out with a promo. I know I haven't watched in a couple of weeks, so maybe this is the only time they have in a while, but I'm sick and tired of seeing a big promo segment to set up the main event, just kick off the show, man. And that's what I like about NXT. They always try to start off the show somewhat different. Sometimes there'll be an NXT, there'll be a promo, sometimes there'll be a match. I just hate the show. I hate it when the show starts off the exact same way every single time. And at least this one was short. He just came out and called out Lashley, because Kurt Angle, by the way, is the director of operations. He has MVP's job now, and Lashley apparently is the world champion from what I've been seeing. And I guess last week Bobby Roode wanted a rematch for the World Heavyweight Championship from when he lost it, and he pretty much cheated and I guess if Roode had beaten Kenny Kidd and MVP last week, he would have gotten a shot, but it didn't happen. So, Lashley, because by the way, they shortened Bobby Lashley's name to just Lashley. And Kurt Angle asked why Lashley didn't give him a shot, and he had a good point. He says that Bobby Roode already got his shot, so he's done with that, which makes sense. And then Kurt Angle talks about how he has to defend his title on a daily basis, and he makes a fatal four-way match between Eric Young, Jeff Hardy, Austin Aries, and Bobby Roode, and the winner faces Lashley for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And what was pretty interesting about this match is everybody had faced Lashley before for the title. Lashley's fought everybody for his title, so I thought that made the match pretty interesting. And then Matt Hardy's backstage. Matt and Jeff Hardy have been teaming together lately, and they're going to go back and break out into single wrestlers now. And Magnus comes up and talks to us, says he's just Jeff Hardy's cheerleader, and he talked about his partner Bram, how they're not seeing eye to eye either, and I think Matt Hardy challenged Magnus to a match, which he accepts. And then we get the first match. It's Havoc defending the Knockouts Championship against Madison Rayne. Madison Rayne kind of was acting like a heel because Havoc had beaten down Taryn Terrell, or Tiffany from WWE, and Madison Rayne didn't save her and talk about how when it comes to this business you have to do everything yourself and stuff. So she acted like a heel, but she came into the match as a face, and it was pretty much the same match that Havoc had against Velvet Sky at Bound for Glory. It was pretty much a destruction. I do like how they do show how strong Havoc is, because they can't do. It's hard for really Madison Rayne to do any moves, just like a simple roll up or something. And But Havoc wins with the choke slam. She calls it a different move, but I'm going to call it the choke slam. Mainly because I don't remember what the move is called. And then, that was really it. She's probably just going to have the match against the typical divas, and then they'll bring in like a big strong diva. Maybe they'll bring Awesome Khan back. Maybe they'll bring Lady Tapa back. Maybe they'll bring ODP. She'll probably be one of the people that puts up the best fight against her. I have a feeling Havoc's going to be probably like one of the longest reigning Knockouts champions, and keep beating opponent after opponent, which I think is fine. That's actually one of the things I'm enjoying. And then Kurt Angle and Devon are backstage, and they're just talking about the typical TNA stuff, and Kurt Angle congratulates him and Bully Ray for getting into the TNA Hall of Fame, and Devon says he's still going to be a TNA wrestler even though he's in the Hall of Fame, which completely ruins the purpose of the TNA Hall of Fame, because you're supposed to be retired when you're in the Hall of Fame. And the three that have joined, Stan, Kurt Angle, and Devon, and the Dudley Boys, or Team 3D, have all been active wrestlers when they became members of the Hall of Fame. And then Eric Young was backstage, and he talked about how he's going to win that TNA World Heavyweight title. He's going to become the #1 contender for the TNA World Heavyweight title. He's going to win that Fatal 4-Way match. And then he talked about how lightning may not strike twice, but things do get crazy, and he talked about the percentages, how he only had like a 5% chance of winning the world title in the first place, and I thought it was fine. Then we got Magnus versus Matt Hardy. It was actually a pretty decent match. One thing I liked about this match is when Magnus powerbombed Matt Hardy into the steel post and onto like the apron, the ring apron, which is actually a pretty hard spot in the ring. And Magnus tries to cheat. He tries to hold the ropes while he goes to pin Matt Hardy, but the ref catches him, and then he goes to go out from the top rope, and Matt Hardy catches him. It's supposed to be the twist of fate, but it looked like more of the diamond cutter. But Matt Hardy wins. I kind of thought Magnus actually was going to win this match, but whatever. I hate Matt Hardy's music. It's just exactly what I hate both the Hardy's music. Matt's more. It's pretty much Jeff's music because he says creatures, and Matt's does not. Seems like it would fit Jeff more. And we got Jesse Goddard, Zima Ion, and Angelina Love with Velvet Sky versus the Menagerie, which consists of Mike Knox. They like to call him Knox, but it's Mike Knox, Crazy Steve, and Rebel. I hate the Menagerie. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I hate them. There's jokes. Mike Knox is just a loser to me. They've given him stuff, and he's fucking blew it. And the WWE blew it. And the Aces and Eights, he blew it, and he's gonna fucking blow this and go fucking nowhere. I fucking hate Mike Knox. He's just a fucking loser. I think I did a live reactions to when they had the main event Mafia face the Aces and Eights, and whoever had gotten pinned would have been out. And I was hoping Mike Knox was gonna would have to leave TNA for good, and I was really hoping Mike Knox was gonna get pinned, but it didn't happen. Devon ended up getting pinned by AJ Styles. I think, I forget how, but the Menagerie won. I kind of zoned out during this match, but they won. I don't remember how though. And then Bobby Roode got interviewed, but he talked about how he needs to become the world champion tonight, and then Aries comes up and says, you wish me luck before I went against Lashley for the title, and now I'm not going to wish you the same luck because we're both in a predicament here, and says, I'm sorry what I have to do to get this title shot, and Roode says that I need this title shot, and then they, I think, shake hands and stuff afterwards. It was, I guess, okay stuff. And then Ethan Carter III, he brought on a new bodyguard, considering the fact that he dumped Rockstar Spud, and it's Brodus Clay. and they even like were like, oh, I know who. Mike Canadian was like, yo, I know who that is. And Tad's like, don't say who it is, don't say who it is. EC3 hypes him up, and he tells him, I forget the name. I should have written it down. Terry, I think it is, or something. I guess they changed. I think I was thinking at first, why did they change his name? But I have a feeling it's because of what the WWE treated him like when he was in the WWE with the Funkasaurus thing and stuff. I think they didn't want him to remember that because they didn't change MVP's name, but the WWE at least treated him somewhat likable. They did the same thing to Ezekiel Jackson and Snitsky. So, and Brodus Clay, they probably would have just laughed at him. I have a feeling there's probably some Brodus Clay chants too in the crowd. That name's gonna get used to it, so until I can remember the name, I'm just gonna call him Brodus Clay. And he talked. EC3 lists down all the Hall of Famers he's beaten because he talks about everyone in the TNA Hall of Fame. It's just people he's beaten, which is true. He goes down all the names, and then Devon comes out and says, like, you haven't beaten me, so I'm going to put Brodus Clay through a table, and EC3, and I'm going to beat EC3, and before he can get in the ring and face him, Blam attacks him with a trash can and just beats the shit out of Devon, which I don't really like Blam. Well, I can't really judge actually, because I haven't seen too much of Blam. I haven't really, to be honest with you. So I can't really judge. I don't really hear good things about him though. And then afterwards, they were still actually in the ring, and EC3 wants Brodus Clay to go undefeated like he is, and he sets up an opponent for him to face. And it ends up being Shock Boy, who was pretty much a Stone Cold ripoff. He comes out to the music, instead of giving me a hell yeah, it's give me a shell yeah. And he even wears like the same Stone Cold Steve Austin jacket, and it says, I think it even says the date, instead of 3/16 it says something else. And when he takes it off to compete, it says shell yeah. And he even does like the same taunt that Stone Cold does when he goes up on the turnbuckle. So it's pretty much a Stone Cold Steve Austin ripoff. This was actually, I actually did laugh at this. I guess there was this guy that was trying to find him so he could tell him his match was next, and Shock Boy was just sitting there eating donuts, and obviously he's not in shape right now, so it was funny as shit. But Brodus Clay squashes him because he's not in shape, but he probably was going to squash him anyways. And Brodus Clay beats him with the choke slam, but he keeps the choke on him to pin him, I guess. Like he chokes him to pin him. Yeah, he hit all his moves that he did before, like the T-bone suplex, the headbutt to the stomach, or to the gut. So he hit all the same moves that he usually did. And I hope to take Brodus Clay seriously this time in TNA. They may do that actually, considering the fact that they like to push people that have been in the WWE. And what I actually was thinking when both EC3 and Brodus Clay when both EC3 and Brodus Clay were in the ring tonight was, wow. These guys were both in WWE, and the WWE failed with them. Because EC3 was Derek Bateman in the WWE, and Brodus Clay was just recently in the WWE. It's just funny. It's just really strange if you think about it. And then Jeff Hardy gets interviewed. He talks about being a singles wrestler again and how he's going to win the world title again. His promo, I don't remember what he said as much as the others. And then then Bram got interviewed, and he was asked why he did that Devon, and he just says, none of your business, so that was a waste of time. And then the Walls was consist of Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards. cut a video packages and pretty much talk about how they're the team to beat since they beat the Hardys and the Dudleys in the the best of 3 series in the tag team tournament, which I am going to check out. I've been meaning to find those matches, but I can't find them anywhere. So if you guys can find them for me, that would be nice. You don't have to. I'm not really asking you to do that, but it'd be easier for me. That's why I wish TNA had a network, but they can't even. They gotta get that television deal done first. But I guess now they're gonna have an 8-team tournament to decide who's gonna face them for the TNA World Tag Team titles. And I think I pretty much already know who's gonna win it because I read online the spoilers, so I'm not really gonna say it here if you don't want to know. And then I think we got the main event. Yeah, it was Eric Young versus Jeff Hardy versus Austin Aries versus Bobby Roode. And I think the match was changed into an elimination match, and the winner became the #1 contender to Lashley's TNA World Heavyweight Championship. This was good stuff. It was a really good match, actually. I didn't really care, I wasn't that into it, and mainly because I already knew who won, because I read the spoilers online by mistake, because I hadn't watched TNA so long, so I didn't really know what was going on. So I mean, if I had known that this match hadn't happened yet, I probably wouldn't have looked it up. But there was a lot of sick stuff in this match. Aries just goes right after Jeff Hardy with a drop kick, and then Roode and Eric Young fight, and Aries and Hardy fight, and they actually, I glad how they pretty much kept this every man for himself. It wasn't like anyone teamed up on anyone. Well, in the beginning of the match, it was everyone for himself, which was good. They kept to the stip, and there was some spots like Hardy was gonna dive on Eric Young, but Aries stopped him, and then Bobby Roode pushed them off the ropes, and their heads collided, and Eric Young pulled Bobby Roode down off the apron and tried to go for a drop kick, but Roode countered it. But then Eric Young countered what he was going to do to him and did a suicide dive to him, and then Aries went to do it, and he punched him right in the face. And Eric Young and Bobby Roode are fighting, and Aries is in the position that Matt Hardy would be if he was going to do the poetry of motion. So Jeff Hardy does the poetry of motion outside the ring to Eric Young and Bobby Roode, and then Aries dives on all of them, and all 3 of them are outside the ring, and then he tries to get them counted out, which I didn't really think made sense, because I thought there was no countouts in a Fatal 4-Way match. But then again, they've done matches before where someone's gotten disqualified in a Fatal 4-Way match, and there's not supposed to be disqualification. So wrestling's like that sometimes, and the match just kept going, and it was an awesome sequence of matches. Everyone was getting near falls on each other. Like Eric Young did a DDT, got a near fall on Jeff Hardy. One thing is Aries did a flip over the top rope onto Roode, and did the spinning forearm to Eric Young, and got a near fall on him. And then Roode and Aries are trying to fight the superplex Eric Young off the turnbuckles, and they just both decide to do it. And then Hardy hits a powerbomb on him and tries to pin everybody, but they all kick out of it. And then Hardy and Eric Young Hardy tries to go for the Swanton Bomb on Austin Aries, and Eric Young goes for a moonsault on Bobby Roode, and they both move out of the way, and afterwards Roode hits the Roode Bomb, and Austin Aries hits the Brainbuster. Roode hits the Roode Bomb on Eric Young, and Aries hits the Brainbuster on Jeff Hardy, and they both get out at the same time. It was all like they both did this at the same time. So then it came down to Roode and Aries, and they brawled, and he tried to go for the finisher several times. Roode got Aries in the first phase, and Aries countered it into the last chancery, and Roode got the ropes. Aries did a neck breaker to Roode against the ropes, and then Austin Aries did a drop kick, and then eventually Aries tries to go up on the top, and then Roode hits a Roode Bomb, and gets the victory and becomes the #1 contender, and afterwards everyone comes out and congratulates them. And I thought this was good. It's just, you know, the winner was already spoiled. I already know who wins the match between Bobby Roode and Lashley, but if you don't want to know, I won't spoil it for you. And that was TNA. I really wasn't that good, to be honest with you. The menagerie stuff, you know, it's typical TNA with that. I did like Havoc. That's the one thing I liked. And I didn't mind the Hardy Magnus match. And I guess seeing Brodus Clay again was pretty cool, but I don't know. I just didn't really impress me. I think they should have impressed me a little bit more, since I was coming back from watching TNA, from not watching TNA probably since June. So June, July, August, September, about like 5 months. And it just didn't impress me, you know. I just thought they could do better, you know. Maybe next week they'll do better, because they're gonna start the 8-man tag team tournament. But the only problem is I already know who wins that, so it's not going to impress me that much. And then they're going to have a contract signed between Bobby Roode and Lashley. But the problem is I already know who wins their match. So yeah, it's just, what the fuck. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully I don't even know if TNA is going to be around much longer, to be honest with you guys. Because I was just about to say, hopefully TNA can improve. If TNA gets the TV deal, hopefully they improve. Like, man, if they don't, then it's bad news. But the problem is too, is they're taped so much in advance that Kurt Angle was on the show and his contract expired already, and he's gone from the show. So I have a feeling like we're not going to see him much on TNA anymore. You know, I just hope I don't even know if the company is going to be around much longer, so I'll do as much reviews as I can, I guess. But the thing is the main reason I also don't want to do many TNA reviews now is because I don't know how long the company's going to last. So we'll see what happens, but that's my review. I'll be back next week, I guess, to review another one. And I have to remember if I have a friend come over, because I had a friend come over who doesn't like wrestling, and I thought this was on at 8 o'clock for some reason, but it's actually on at 9, so I gotta remind myself that it's on at 9. But that's pretty much it for the video. I'm gonna click off, subscribe to all the stuff down below, and do all the Facebooks and stuff. I'm gonna go upload this now.